Okay, so we'll come to our regular seated position. And the first thing we'll do is we'll make sure that we feel balanced on both hips, the right and the left, so have a little bit of a wriggle, and make sure that you're on the more edge of the chair, not so you're going to tip off, but you're not sat too deep in the chair. And you can ground through the feet, spreading the toes. Imagine these are my toes, spread them out. And then you've got a really lovely line here from your ankle to knee to hip. Then we'll just start with some breath into the body. So just turn the palms facing upwards to relax the shoulders. Check the shoulders are sat nicely over hips. Lengthen up through the top of the head. Draw the jawline back. Close your eyes or find a gaze just beyond screen, and we'll take some nice inhales in through the nose and then out through the nose. So soften at your jawline, just opening your teeth slightly, resting the tongue on the roof of your mouth. And take your awareness to the breath at the back of your throat. And then you're looking for that nice, steady, smooth inhale in through the nose. And the same balance with the exhale here. So nice, steady, smooth exhale. And often when we're rushing around, we get lots of big inhales in and we forget about our exhales. Yoga gives us the time to think about those lovely long exhales, which help us to tap into the parasympathetic nervous system, that rest and digest that we need in our lives as well. Start to be aware of the breath into the chest, and it might be that you feel the rib cage expand. We're thinking about the front, the sides and the back, so the rib cage in its 3D form. And then we'll start to work more into the tummy area here. So it might be that you feel the breath moves your tummy outwards. You can do that, but also think about the lift kind of upwards with the breath. So let's send it deeper into the body. You'll also notice that it lifts the front of the rib cage as well when we send this breath all the way into the torso. On every exhale, just relax these shoulders down by your sides. And then gently open your eyes here. We'll take our head to one side. Keep the shoulders where they are, nice and relaxed. Let's take an inhale and exhale here. And then we'll take the chin down towards the first collarbone for an inhale and exhale. Then take the chin to the center of the chest for an inhale and exhale. The chin to the next collarbone, let's breathe. And then we'll look to the other side of the room. Inhale and exhale. And then working back to the collarbone, we would just add, feeling the stretch around the back of the shoulder on the opposite side. And then taking the chin to the center. Then the chin to the next collarbone. And turning our gaze to the other side. And we'll come back to center here. Just let your palms rest lightly on the tops of your thighs, and just one at a time, start rolling these shoulders back so we can get some lovely blood flow into the area here. Keep the breath going. And if you feel you want to just do an exhale out of the mouth, then just go for it. Let's change direction with the shoulders. Forward we go. And this is a really nice de-stressor where we hunch the shoulders up towards the ears, taking an inhale in through the nose, and then an exhale out of the mouth, letting go. Reach through the fingertips as well. Let's do another 5. 4. 3. 2. 1. Good. Hands can go back to thighs. We'll let the spine curve back and forth, C-shaping it. So tuck tailbone underneath, let the arms come forward, chin to chest. You'll be able to go further than me with this one. And then as we come back the other way, find that little back bend. The pelvis will tilt, the shoulders draw back together, and we feel the openness of the throat. That's it. And let's work between the two here. Now, if you can get an inhale as you open the chest and throat, then great, but just follow your own flow. And let's go back to inhales in through the nose and exhales out through the nose. So we're getting that little bit of engagement between the shoulder blades here as we come back. So strength here, which is our postural muscles, which we always need to think about, drawing back and together. Let's do 2 more of these. Good. Coming to our seated position, I want to do the stretch between the collarbone and the jawline here. So place the opposite hand to opposite collarbone with the index finger running underneath. And then place the other hand on top just for sort of stabilization. Shoulders down and away, that's really important. Lovely long spine. And then draw that chin up and away so that you've got that magnificent stretch coming from that jawline to that collarbone. Let's feel the breath here into the chest. So sort of rising breath, opening up those lungs, feeling the breath move and stretch this area for us. And the skin is fine here on our neck and chest, so it will feel like quite a strong stretch. Important for us to consider though. And then come back to a neutral position. And I would just do sort of shoulder rolls or maybe some little smiley faces with the head. We will do the other side, but just so that we're not going straight into it. Any kind of movements and maybe some exhales out of the mouth. Let's go with the other side. Index finger here to the collarbone, the other hand on top. Drop shoulder down and away. And then here we go. Jawline up. That's it. Strong stretch, an important stretch for our posture. Let's breathe into it here. Feeling the breath lift the chest to help the stretch. Good, and then back to our center position. Again, any kind of freestyle moves that you would like. Okay, so let's make a really big wingspan here. Stretch, open those arms. Think about the engagement between the shoulder blades, the openness of the chest, and then we're going to hug ourselves. So hug, remembering what your top arm is. Let the chin come in towards your chest here. And you might even rock back. I won't do a very good demo of this, but you might tuck tailbone underneath and feel a little bit more of a back stretch here as well. Then open the arms out, engage between the shoulder blades, check shoulders aren't hunching up away from ears, think back and down. And then change the other arm to be on top as you hug chin to chest. And then we can also do the tilt with the pelvis and the more of the C shape of the spine. Then we'll get into our own flows. So inhale, lift, open, expand that rib cage. Exhale, here we go, back in. Inhaling, opening your own timing here. And coming back in. So really nice for us to open up the heart space. Think of this as an energy center where you give a little bit of TLC back to yourself. That's it. And of course, it's expanding the rib cage, helping you to take bigger breaths into the chest as well. And if you've got lots of energy today, you might be a little bit quicker. And if you feel a little bit slower, then just be slower with it. Take your time. Maybe you need just a little bit longer hugging yourself and going into your sort of little ball here, if you like. Good. And then coming to center. We're going to take one arm behind the back, so it will just settle like this, but behind your back, okay? Drop the shoulders down and away. The other hand can just rest lightly on the top of the thigh. And then take the head away from the shoulder that you are stretching behind your back. Let's do 4 or 5 breaths here. And then let the chin start to tilt down a little bit. So we've still got the turn away, but we've just angled the chin down slightly, and we'll feel the stretch move around the back of the shoulder here. Let's breathe. And then coming to center, releasing that arm. You might want a little bit of movement here. Some exhales out of the mouth. Let's wrap the other arm here behind us. That's it. So just like this, but behind. Drop shoulders down and away, they're nice and balanced, then the head moves over. And with all head and neck movements, it's not about, you know, going as far as you possibly can. Just listen to your own boundaries with it. You might just get a little bit out of it. That doesn't matter. Just see what feels right for you. Don't overdo it. Let's breathe here for another 4 to 5. And letting the chin tilt down a little. And then come back up to center, that's it, and any movements you like. Right, so let's go into our twists now. So this is quite good if you can put something between your legs, and I'm just going to demo with my roller. But this could be a block or a cushion or something, okay? Now, I'm just going to set you off with the legs, and then I'm going to actually move my roller out the way. But you're still in the same position that you were before, nice and upright. And what you're going to do on the exhale is squeeze the roller with both thighs and feel a lift of the pelvic floor and a drawing of the tummy button in towards your spine. Okay, so nice big inhale here. And then as you exhale, draw in together and squeeze the thighs at the same time to help connect with your core. So I'll do another 3 with you here. Breathing and releasing. Exhaling and engaging between the thighs and feeling the pelvic floor. You guys keep going with your item. That's it. And then we're going to involve the twist. So keeping shoulders relaxed, hold what I call an imaginary ball here, just in line with your tummy button. Okay, so we'll still do the same action with the legs. Take this imaginary ball over to the side of the hip, and then on the exhale, draw the legs together and pull in towards the hip. So you start to get into the side of the abdominal section here. So we're working the transverse muscles. Inhale, release the legs a little bit, and then exhale, squeeze together and draw in here at the hip. That's it. Breathe. Exhale, legs together and squeeze here at the hip. That's it. Inhale, we move. And exhale, we squeeze. Inhale, we move. Exhale, we squeeze. Good. Keep going with this. We want about another 6. So really good for the core. Really good for that awareness of pelvic floor. We're also using those adductors as well. Let's do one more each side. Good. Keep your item there. This time we'll take one hand to the side of the leg, and then the other hand will hold on to a part of your chair. So you can really feel that shoulder open. Turn your gaze to the side of the room. And then just stay here and breathe, but still actioning legs together on the exhale. Okay, so breathe into the body. And as you exhale, squeeze the thighs together, Draw up the pelvic floor and see if you can twist a little bit deeper into it. Jawline back slightly, so you're lifting up through the top of the head. And feel that lovely space created with that shoulder blade as you hold on to the back of your chair. And let's work the other side. So let's just switch hands the other way. Hold on to a part of your chair, roll that back shoulder open. Take your gaze to the side of the room here. And then remember on that exhale to draw upwards and inwards, connect with the core, and then feel the twist through the middle back. And you make this stronger by you drawing upwards and inwards and connecting with your core. Sit bones lovely and grounded. And then we come back to center. Well done. And a few little movements as we need. Okay, so I want to do our quad stretch next. So remove your item between your legs, just put it to one side. And then we're going to turn on our chair to one side. And what you want is to be able to send one leg back. Your back arm is supporting you on the chair as well, so you feel your hips are lovely and level when you do this. And then you've got your toes curled underneath to help you with this lunge position. I'm just going to move back a little bit in my frame, actually. Just bear with me. So we're set up in our lunge position, tucking tailbone here underneath, so we feel this lovely quad stretch, but we're not sinking into the hip. Everything is lovely and balanced. Now we'll take this outer arm, the same arm as the leg that we're stretching, and we'll take fingertips here to our shoulder, and then we'll just do some shoulder rolls while we hold the quad stretch. Now, not doing a full arm might be appropriate for you depending on how your shoulders are, and you can stay with this range of movement here, or you could do a full arm if you wanted to. So full arm, lift up, open and release. So entirely up to you what your body feels like it needs today. You need to be comfortable when you move through these postures, these dynamic movements, and to feel a lovely stretch, to feel lovely energy from the dynamic movement. But you don't want to feel any restriction or pain for that matter. And you're still holding onto that chair to keep your hips nice and stable. Let's do a lateral stretch now. So it can be fingertips to ear as you arc over towards the back of the chair, or you do a full arm up and over towards the back of the chair. And this you're going to feel, if you hold it there, this you're going to feel into the side of the ribs and potentially a little bit into the side of the hip as well. So we've either got fingertips to ear as we arc over towards the back of the chair, or we do a lovely long arm up and over. Breathe into it here. Gaze just forward of your knee. Good, and releasing out of there. One more here. We're going to twist towards the back of the chair. So keep the hips stable and then literally take hold of the back of your chair as you twist. And we'll hold it here for 4 breaths. So you want to feel the twist through the middle of the back. And I'm not twisting that far. You might be able to twist more than me. Still tuck the tailbone underneath. Keep the hips nice and square. And feel the twist happening through the mid-back thoracic. And then we'll come back to center. And we've got to repeat it all on the other side. Okay, so turning on our chair, that's it. And then it's a case of we're grounded on the hips, but we can send one back. And we're holding onto the back of the chair. Curl the toes underneath. Tuck the tailbone here underneath. That's it. So we've got that stretch happening. Fingertips to shoulder, and we start with these little shoulder rolls up and open. Let's breathe into the body. And then those of you that would like to do the full circle and don't feel that this is negative on their shoulder in any way, then open up into your full circles. That's it. Spinning and breathing into it. Welcome an exhale out of the mouth if you wish. Coming back to our lunge, check we've tucked tailbone underneath. We're going to come into the lateral stretch. So we can do fingertips here to ear as we direct the elbow up, and we're going towards the back of the chair. That's it. And we might do an arm extension if that feels appropriate to us, feeling it into the side of the ribs and potentially into the side of the hip here. That's it. And we can come out of it and go back in. So I'll do another one of those with fingertips here to ear, open elbow, arc up and over, and then send the arm out and away if that feels right. Coming out of there, we'll go into our twist position. So the hips need to stay grounded and forward. The only thing that moves is our hands to the back of the chair and our middle back, and then take your gaze towards the back of the chair as well. You'll be able to twist a little bit further than me, but just be aware that your hip doesn't travel with you when you do this, okay? If it does, just ease off the twist some more. On the exhale, draw upwards and inwards with your core, so you've got that pelvic floor going on. Good, and then releasing out of there and coming back to center. Well done. Okay, let's come up to some standing work now. So we're going to put our chairs just to one side because we might need them to hold on to at some point. That's it. Just lift my frame up a little bit. Okay, excellent. So let's do some hip work here. So feet are a little bit wider than hip width. That's it. And we'll just do hands on hips for the moment. And we're going to bend at the knees and scoop into one side of the hip, bend into the knees and scoop into the other side of the hip. That's it. So creating space all through this side of the hip. Bending at the knees is great mobility. Same with the ankles, just to get those moving as well. Breathe with it and just find these lovely smooth movements. We'll take it into some circles. So letting the hips move forward, feeling it into the side of the hip, and then seeing how it moves into the other side. Finding your own range, listening to your own body. And some exhales out of the mouth if you wish. Keeping your awareness on the hips and this smooth transition. Let's work the other way. Good. Time for some squats. Now, a couple of options. You can keep them this distance with toes pointing forwards, or you might like a little bit of a turn out of the feet. And you might also find a little bit wider is comfortable as well. But when you do the turn out of the feet, just do 5, 2, and 5 past the hour. Hands to the tops of the thighs, and then sit into the hips here. Check when you sit into the hips that you're not skewing into one side more than the other. We're not flattening through the feet at all, and knees don't go any further than the toes. And lift. Squeeze the glutes and the abs at the top. And then let's just keep hands on thighs, shoulders relaxed, and we'll work through a sequence of these. So down we go, zipping up core and lift. Breathe with it as you work. Feeling how you're sitting into those hips. And it's not about doing a huge number. It's not about how quick you go. It's just a nice steady pace to check all muscles are working, nicely balanced, and building that strength. And you might have chosen some toes forward, which is a little bit more square, down into your squat and lift. You might not be able to go quite so deep in this squat. See how you go. It also might up your heart rate a little bit as well. Just keep breathing into it. I'm going to go back to the wider squat for some, so just a slight turn out to sit a little bit deeper. One more here. Good, excellent. Turn your toes to point forward if they weren't, and we'll go into deadlift. So again, keep hands on the tops of the thighs, softness in the knees, and then this is a hinge at the pelvis. So we tilt forward, that's it, and then we lift up. I'm just going to do a view from the side. Toes point forward, soft knees. We hinge with a nice flat back, shoulders down by our sides. And we lift, and we just feel the stretch here happening down the backs of the legs, into the backs of the thighs. Also checking in that we are sitting into both hips the same. Do we transfer our weight over to one side more than the other? So just check in on that and try and do it nice, balanced and equal. And we're also using our core to lift us back up again. So zip upwards as we come up. And also think about engaging the glute muscles at the top without over back bending. So it's a case of tummy button in and glutes engage at the top. Let's do 3 more. Breathing with it, working the strength of the legs. Good. Well done. Bringing the feet hip width, and you can do this closer together if you want to, or I'm going to go hip width today. We'll just do hands on hips. You might even need fingertips on a chair, just see how you go. Rise onto the ball of the foot on one, and then change to the other. That's it. So stretching through all the feet, all the muscles in the feet, making sure the big toe gets a good stretch. That's it. And just pedaling the legs up and down. And then what we can add to here is a lift with both at the same time. So if you're up for trying it, lift up onto the balls of the feet on both and then come down. Now what can happen with this, I'm just going to hold on to do this demo, is when we lift up, the ankles can go like this, open. Try not to let that happen. Keep them nice and in line. And back down. And if this does feel a little bit too tricky, then just go one at a time. That's fine. And a bit more challenge is obviously to do the 2. So nice calf raises. Good strength in the calves, which we will stretch out next. Two more. Good. We'll turn to our chairs. I'm going to do warrior 1. So 1 foot forward of the other. Think of tram lines. Okay. And then bend into the front leg, keeping the back leg straight. So you've got your calf at the back getting a stretch. Now, if that feels uncomfortable with your knee for your toe to point forward, turn out ever so slightly, but not too far. Think 5 to the hour or 5 past the hour, depending on what leg you're on. Bend into it so you've got that lovely stretch. Now you've got the option to just hold onto the chair and just work the stretch, or you can work some goalpost arms with me if you wish. Now I'm just going to turn to the front to get you going with this so you can see the arms, but you hold the calf stretch, and then the arms that you're going to do are to open into goalposts, squeeze the shoulder blades together, and then come back in. Good. Open here, and then come back in. Well done. That's it. Now I'm going to add in tiger breath as well. Now tiger breath is one of those where it feels like you bring out your inner child. It's a little bit bonkers. It's a good stress reliever, and it's good at getting rid of negative emotions as well. And when you open the chest and exhale, stick your tongue out, and if you can, go cross-eyed. All right, so we'll do kind of 3 to 4 of those. So inhaling, and then stick your tongue out. Exhale, stick your tongue out. Couple more. Good. Relax the arms and just do a little bit of a shoulder roll here. Now we're going to go into lengthening the hamstring on the front leg. So straighten both the legs, and as you straighten both the legs, notice you can kick the hips back and then fold the arms here on the chair and rest your forehead on your hands. Hopefully it's comfortable enough on the top of your chair. You can always just grab a pillow and stick it on top of the chair for a bit more comfort if you like. Now, forehead onto wrists is really important to access our third eye, part of the energy systems again, or energy centers, sorry. Have a look through to start with to check you're not swaying out in your hips in any way. Softness in the knee joints, so we're not locking out. And just a lovely long length through the spine. You might find your arms are a little bit further forward than mine, so you end up with a bit more of a chest stretch as well. And then close your eyes here for about 5 breaths. Just zone out for about 5 breaths. Nice and calm. Just feeling that lovely stretch down the back of the front leg here. You might also feel it in the back leg. Finding the restfulness of the pose. And then lifting heads, bending into that leg and coming back up. Excellent. Let's do the sequence on the other side. So changing the feet, bending into the front leg, getting that stretch in the back calf, turning the back toe out a little bit if we need to for our knee. Fingertips on the chair if we prefer, for a little bit of added help balance-wise. And we're going to go for the open chest. So if you don't mind taking your fingertips away, open chest into goalposts, squeezing the shoulder blades together, checking shoulders are down away from ears and back in. And then if you're happy to add in the tiger breath, then give it a go. Inhaling, exhaling, sticking the tongue out. And you can go cross-eyed if you want to. Another 3. Good. Folding the arms onto the chair, straightening the legs, so we now focus on the front leg and the hamstring here, possibly the calf too. Check that the hips move back square. We don't sway out in any way. Softness in the kneecaps. Forehead down onto wrists here. And then when you're happy to close your eyes for about 5 breaths, just zone out in this lovely hamstring calf stretch. Bending into that leg, lifting and coming out of there. Well done. Okay, and let's just go into some hip movements here, a little bit of side hip work, which will be to do with balance, and then we'll come on back down. So if you liked these kind of scoop in ones, let's do some of those. Breathe with it here. Legs should be feeling a little bit more mobile, a little bit more warm and stretchy. We've also got those circles as well. You can be smaller than me, you can be bigger than me, just see how you go. Listen to your own bodies. And then changing direction the other way. Very good. Okay, holding on to the chair, we're going to work with this outer leg here. So turn the toe inward, and so check that the toe's not out or to the side, it's inward here. Soften the knee on the standing leg, check we don't sway into the hip, make sure you've got your support. And then we're just going to do a little lift and then back in, a little lift and then back in. And we'll just do 10 of these, 10, 9, it doesn't have to be high, and 8, and 7, and 6, good, and 5, and 4, and 3, 2, and 1, good. Take the knee here forward, and we're going to bring it up hip height. So same thing, grounding through that foot, soft knee, the hips don't sway, and we lift up to this point here and down. That's it. And we go for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. One last thing here. We're going to try a rotation of the hip as such, and then bring it back in. So I'm just balancing on my toe, and I'm keeping this leg nice and strong without sinking into this hip, holding onto the chair, and then I'm just rotating out and then back in. That's it. Out and then back in. That's it. Let's go for 6 more. And back in. Good. And 5. Back in. Well done. 4. Back in. 3. Back in. 2. And we'll do 1 more. Good. Okay, excellent. Now we need to hold the chair the other side, so it might be that you turn around for this sequence, or if it's not too difficult to move the chair, as long as it's not too heavy, then bring it over to the other side. So standing on one leg, softness in the knee, not changing the hip at all, holding onto the chair. Turn the toe inwards. That's really important that the toe is in and we're not going too high with the hip. So let's get started with lifting and then back in, feeling it here on the side of the hip and back in. Let's go for 10. Good, breathe with it. 9, 8, and 7, 6, and 5, 4, and 3, 2, and 1. Good. Back to center, knee points forward. We're coming up hip height, thinking about the abdominal section as we lift up and down. That's it. And often when the leg returns back to the floor, that's when we feel it abdominally. Here we go for 10 and down. Good. 9 and down. 8 and down. Good. 7 and down. 6 and down. Good. Keep working here. 5 and 4. Keep breathing. 3 and 2 and 1. We've got our hip rotation now. So just leave your big toe down and we open and close. Now it's quite important when you open that this leg doesn't travel with you. It stays grounded as it is. And again, the hips stay nice and level. We hold onto the chair as we need. Open and close. That's it. We go for 6 and in. And my toe is just lightly rested there. I'm not really leaning on it. 4 more. And in. Check the hip doesn't travel with you. 3 and in. 2 and in. Good. 1 and in. Excellent. Oh, a little bit of a shake out and wiggle. Good. Let's go to a seated position. Well done. Okay. Oh my goodness, it's 5-2. Okay, let's do some face yoga. I'm going to come up a little bit closer to screen. I would have ideally liked a little bit longer with face yoga. So I'll do my best and then I can always do another video. Okay, so sitting up nice and tall, back to that position, feet lovely and grounded here. We're going to take the fingers like a comb across the forehead with the little fingers across the brow. Okay, so very smooth and comforting across the forehead. That's it. And you can close your eyes at each part when you know what you're doing. Breathe with it here. We have to have our arms up to help us, but we'll relax them in a minute. Taking them across the eyebrow line. And of course our face is obviously doing lots of expressions all the time. This is just a way to release the tension. And let these muscles relax. And then we're going to take our hands to the side of our face with predominantly the index finger and the next finger here on the temple. And we'll just hold it. We're not going to circle. We're just going to hold it. Now this is when you can drop shoulders down and away. Close your eyes and just feel the comfort of the fingers here on the side of your head. Again, another place of tension. Just breathe into it. And then we're going to make like we're playing the piano, or raindrops, I sometimes refer to it as, across the cheekbone line. So that bone line that kind of goes up here, just a gentle tap from the nose up and out. Breathe with it here. And then as if you're taking your hair behind your ear, scoop, well, you can do that, scoop your hair upwards behind the back of the ear on the bone that you can feel until your index finger and your next finger meet the jawline. And then when you get to this area here, just have a little bit of movement with your head and neck. It doesn't have to be crazy. To just see if you can release any knotted areas around the back of the jaw to the neck. And then we can repeat. So we go up, around the back of the ear, until we get to the jawline, and we just start moving the neck as we like, as we need to massage into this area here. And you might stay there, or you might go again up behind. Just a gentle pressure. One more here. Keep breathing steadily with it. And then we'll take hold of our earlobes. Obviously, it's not ideal if you've got earrings on, but take hold of your earlobes and then just give like this little tug downwards. Little tug downwards. And you might do a few of them. Do one more here. And then resting hands on the tops of the thighs and dropping the shoulders here down and away. Closing your eyes as I just talk through some relaxation. So we'll start with the top of the head. Take your awareness here to the top of your head. Think about the muscles here at the top of your head. Softening them. Softening those muscles that come to the hairline. And then taking it all the way to the back of the skull. Soften across your forehead, into your eye sockets and temples, turning your gaze inward towards your third eye. Softening into your cheeks, your upper lip and chin, and all the way to the jawline and around the back of the ear. Find the lovely length of your neck. And then let the shoulders just drop down a little bit more, letting the tension go from your traps. Softening as you go, breathing lightly into the body. Notice at the front of the chest an opening here from the work that you've done this morning, a broadening of the collarbones, more space created in the rib cage. And then let these shoulders just hover nicely over the hips, not forward or back, just nicely settled here. Bring the breath into the tummy, finding the gentle rise and fall. And notice your core lightly holding you in this seated position, lovely and relaxed. All vertebrae stacked nicely, and all that breath work and movement having helped to create more space and lightness. Then we come down into the hip joints, and our awareness is on the right and left, and how both of them feel, and that they are nicely balanced. And then as we come into the thighs, we let them go. We feel these muscles nicely aligned and soft. Kneecaps nice and soft. And then taking awareness into the lower legs, the calves and the Achilles. And feeling the heels on the floor and the big toe and all the other toes. And if you can imagine here that you were standing on the sand and you were to look at your feet imprinted in the sand, that they would show all 10 toes of equal pressure. You would see the edges of the feet. You would see the curves of the insides of your feet. And you would see the heel also nicely balanced. Gently open your eyes and take a bigger breath, or maybe even a sigh. And we'll bring the hands here together at heart center to sign the class off all together. Namaste.